I
Tiffany, I was so excited to speak with you today. I seen winter, spring, summer, fall, and I absolutely loved it from
oh,
beginning to end. And,
amazing. Oh, thank you. That just warms my heart to hear.
and I know what's going on, but my night with community doesn't. So without giving too much away, what can you tell us about this project?
Well, oh my gosh, this project is so near and dear to my heart. It's such a beautiful, sweet love story between two unexpected people, and I just fell in love with it the first time I read it. This project has been my baby for the last 2.5 years. It was, which in the world of movies, as you know, isn't all that long, but when you're in it, it seems like it has taken forever to get to this moment. So we just could not be more excited to be world premiering in Tribeca next week.
Yes, congratulations. Tribeca is on the horizon. And what was it like working with someone who's so beloved like Jenna Ortega?
Well, I mean, I feel so lucky that I got to have that experience with her. We had a really interesting time in that we shot the first half of the movie. And then in order to even get Jenna to be able to do it, we had to agree to shut down production for 3 weeks in the middle of filming so that she could go off and do all of the press for Wednesday, because Wednesday premiered in the middle of our shoot. So I always kind of feel like we started with one girl at a certain place in her career. And then when she came back, global superstar, she was already, her star was really rising like crazy. And that Wednesday just exploded. So it was really
Yeah.
interesting. I think we got her like at this last moment. And then everything changed. So it's very cool to be a part of.
Watching it, I felt it was indeed a love story. It also touched on self-discovery. What other themes do you think the audience will be able to relate to when they watch?
Well, I definitely think it's really about capturing that moment in your life when you're searching for what your identity is going to be, and you feel like, I think we all have that experience where we feel like we might be one person, but we're kind of drawn to other options. And I think this is about a girl who's really struggling with that self identity and the identity that her family's put on her and that she has put on herself. And is that something that she's going to stick with or break away from? And I think that that's a really interesting theme and time to explore, um, that last gasp before high school into adulthood. It's very universal. I think it's those universal themes really captured.
Now, I understand this is your first feature directorial debut. Is that correct?
Yes.
No pressure, right?
no, no pressure. Yeah, it was a dream, a long time coming. I have been fortunate enough to be a writer on some movies that I loved and had great success as a writer, and just waiting in the wings to get my opportunity to finally direct. So yes, it was a dream come true.
People who watch films because they love it or they want to feel empowered or laugh or cry or just feel something or think about something. Or they may see the glitz and the glam of, being on the red carpets, but I'm sure filmmaking comes with some challenges, right, Tiffany? Was there any challenges along the way that you can touch on that you persevered through this process?
Oh my gosh, how much time do you have? I
Right.
think every project has its challenges. There can be similar, different. It's just always pushing that boulder up the hill, right? It's so many things, catching that lightning in a bottle. So many things have to come together at the right time, at the right place. We ended up having to shoot this movie with almost no prep time in Utah, in Salt Lake City, in the dead of winter. And as you know, it's called winter, spring, summer, or fall. So right there's a whole host of just weather challenges that we had. We
Mhm.
had, as I mentioned, we had to shut production down for 3 weeks. COVID was still happening. It was
Right.
winter time. Is my crew going to come back? The night before we started shooting, my DP developed kidney stones. He thought he was going to have to go to the
Oh.
emergency room. We had to have a standby DP. There were many challenges, which I was so lucky to have this amazing crew and amazing support team around me to get us all through it.
How would you describe the film in 3 words?
Oh my gosh. Uh, the film in 3 words, I would say romantic, I would say charming, and I would say unexpected.
Yes. And I boohoo cried at the end, but I'm not saying anything.
Yay.
Just boohoo cried in a good way. I just loved it.
Good.
Perfect ending. Oh my gosh. Well shot. Well done. Oh my gosh. What advice would you have, Tiffany, for other directors, especially women who aspire to direct their first feature?
Well, I would say be passionate about wanting to direct. And I mean, it's just it's everything in the entertainment industry can be applied to directing, right? It is, you just have to have perseverance. You have to have, really have to have self-confidence and be able to be not afraid to raise your hand and step up to the plate and say, yes, I can do it. And, you know, directing is that job where you have to instill confidence in a lot of areas where you might not necessarily be confident. And, you know, I was really certain at what I knew, which was how to tell a story. I go back to one of my all-time favorite and idols, directors, Ron Howard, and he said, you know, he says the director is the keeper of the story. And I'm like, I'm the keeper of the story. If I can do that, then everybody around me, you know, is really good at their jobs and they will support me in my singular job, which is keeping the story. And so I would say be, you know, be confident. And if you're not necessarily confident in all areas, pretend that you are, fake it till you make it. And just really be patient if you have to. This movie, believe it or not, every studio in town passed on this movie, this package, not once, but twice. So it was one of those stories where you think this is never going to happen. And how are people not saying yes? And so I got a lot of no's. And this is a business of no's, but it only takes one yes. So that if there's any advice I can give, it's be patient. And sometimes that yes might come right away. For me, it didn't. You had to be patient, but here we are.
And here we are about to premiere at Tribeca, the iconic Tribeca Festival. In addition to the festival, is there news and where audiences can see the film outside of the festival, or do we just have to stay tuned for that news to
Everyone
break?
has to just stay tuned and be, you know, be patient. And I think there are some really exciting things ahead for our movie.
I agree. I loved it. Thank you so much for your time, Tiffany. Congratulations. Have
Well,
fun at
thank you
Tribeca.
so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching the movie and for loving it. That means so much to me. It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Bye bye.